Hey, you guys, and welcome to American Culture. So, today we are going to talk about relationships and specifically what makes the irreconcilable differences or what breaks people up. You see, God has kind of been calling us out of the shadows and putting us back into relationships dynamics. We want to date, we want to go places. But one of the things that I had been working on is Alicia really figuring out what makes a relationship. And of course, God showed me that it was unconditional love, which is acceptance and tolerance to its most very core degree. The second part was what breaks it apart, which is the irreconcilable difference. And I didn't think that I paid too much attention to that because I'm like, if you have love, isn't that enough? But the truth is, it isn't. You see, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What leads to a divorce or a breakup? When you look at a divorce, it's really somebody saying, here's this decree. This is what we owe each other because we've decided to go our separate ways. We don't get along. I used to think that that was some type of a cop out. How can you be married to somebody at one and not relate to them? But I'm about to tell you. You see, the first part is the irreconcilable part. And to know this, you have to understand why we get involved in relationships to begin with. It's because we think they're worth it. And they're worth it until they start to owe us, until we start to feel like we're getting drained from it. And that goes back to that first part of divorce, which is the piece of paper in the decree that says, you owe me this. Now, the real question is, why do you feel owed? You see, it's because up until this point, you thought love fixed things. It gave you the house, it gave you the car, it gave you the kids. And then one day you realized you're a person and you're not a house. You can't take a one way approach with the hammer and boom, fixed. It's great. It doesn't work like that with people. Often things remain broken. No, people, they need healing, they need love, and they need nurturing. But that was not what you got involved with this for. You got involved with this because this fixed things. And now the money's running low and you can't fix it with shopping, can't fix it with the house. It's all stressed out. And the moment that the fixed love isn't there, suddenly it's your partner. They're lazy, they're unambitious, they're holding you back. And you may not say these things out loud, you may just think them, but you act them out. You act out, I think that you're stupid. You act out, I think that you're dumb, until one day things come to a head and both of you are screaming at each other and you're like, you know what? In order for me to stay here, I need a better experience and I need a better you. And this is when people get to a point to where they say, we're at the irreconcilable differences. The love isn't enough. And again, I used to think that was a lie and a cop out because love is everything. How is it not enough? But they're right. The earthly way of loving, the fix it love, that you have the resources to give me the life that I want with the things that you can use to build love, isn't there. It's not enough. What you need to do is switch over to the second part of where the differences are. You see, we just learned what makes it irreconcilable. At a certain point, my lack of communicating of how I truly feel and everything else, and me not feeling worthy and all this other stuff has led to me feeling owed a better life, owed a better partner. And because I don't have the skills to love, I need out here. Now, the second part of the differences is just that. How do we love each other? The fix it love of having to have the resources to provide the next thing that brings that temporary happiness ain't working. You need a nurturing love. You need a growing love. You need kindness. You need patience. You need consideration. And above all, you guys, you need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to feel trust and vulnerability. You need all those characteristics that come along with love the way that God says it does. The second part of this, and you'll recognize you're not equally yoked, is do you have the same passion and purpose? Are you actually headed in the same directions? Do you want to do the same things? Do you even enjoy one another? You'd be surprised how many people are together and don't even know how to enjoy each other. Do we have a plan? Can we focus? Is there discipline here to get us to this greater goal? Do we even have one? And so, what happens to a lot of people is when they get to that irreconcilable point, that is too big. You've done too many things, so much stuff I've had to forgive you for. And they get to the differences. We're not headed in the same direction. We don't even like each other. That's where divorce is. Now, this brings you to the second part of, as a Christian, do I believe in divorce? You better believe it. It's one of the best tools possible to get you to a covenant marriage. And I'll tell you why. Marriage is indeed that. It's a covenant. And God gives that to a specific demographic of people. And that's a man and a woman to be a husband and a wife. And the Bible explains to you in great detail what a husband and a wife is. And so if you're living those characteristics, congratulations. You can live under that covenant. You're going to experience life. but doing it from God's perspective is going to go a lot better for you than if it was separate. I had a guy tell me that he was cheating on his wife, and at first I thought, oh my gosh, you're a terrible person. But then as I understood how God uses these types of things to get him closer to that, I got it. They're in a covenant bond. God's got this. However, most people, they're not showing up as husband and wife. They're doing those characteristics. They're cheating, they're lying, they're being less than. And so they are. They're just in a marriage. And most of us, the marriage is a contract. It's not, you don't go to the courthouse and get a marriage covenant. You get a marriage contract. You get a license, not a covenant, none of that stuff. And so what most of us are doing is we're finding a partner and we're saying, you're great like this. Stay like this. Love you forever. But again, that goes against the nature of the way God works, which is evolution. You turn into a different person pretty much every 5 years, and you've been doing that since you were born. You weren't Googling Gaga at 5 years old. You weren't sitting here playing with toy tykes at 15. Every time, every 5 to 10 years, you switch and be a different person. And so a person has to be able to love you, to grow with you, to be accepting of you and tolerant of you in order to be able to do that. But most of us are asking for somebody to come and fill a position like we're hiring a contractor. As long as you stay who I hired to be my wife, I will continue to be with you. The second that you don't do that, I'm out the door. And if that's the philosophy that you're getting this contract with, no wonder why, when that person is no longer who you thought they were, you're out the door. So yeah, divorce is necessary to get a lot of people to into their current covenant situations, even if the covenant situation is with the person that they were previously married to. I've seen plenty of people who've gotten married, got divorced, and then gone back and done it God's way and been successful. The key here is that you're going to need God's way. The earthly way is going to die. The earthly way of I fix it, this is my foundation, I'm trying to build security, is going to die. It doesn't matter the shelter you build, you're still going to feel insecure. You're still going to feel like you don't have enough money. You're still going to feel like, oh my gosh, I need something else. And so you need to put down the idea that your love fixes things and get over and realizes that Jesus is the carpenter. He's a firm foundation. He does that. I need the healing kind of love here. I need to work on being nurturing. I need to work on being kind, considerate, compassionate, loyal. Me, I need to find a purpose. I need to guide my family into a centralized direction. So those earthly ways will always die. What's leading to the death of so many relationships is because they were built on earthly principles and they always die out. The only thing that saves them is switching over to the way that Jesus and God say to do it. And a lot of people, they just don't recognize that that's the kind of serious journey that they need to take. So until then, the irreconcilable part of you owe me, you're indebted to me meets the differences part of we are not headed in the same direction. Let's go our separate ways. And it's going to constantly lead into divorce until people switch over from the contract of you need to be this person forever, every all day, every single day, to the covenant of I'm here to grow with you, love you, evolve with you. I'm going to be the husband. I'm going to be the wife. This is the result that you're going to get. Have a blessed day, you guys.